Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. Being a single mother is a challenge in itself. Such mothers have to fulfill the roles of a mother as well as a father and strive to make ends meet, not only on the emotional but also on the financial front. So, one of the toughest jobs in the world for a woman is to have the right balance between their job and their duties as a parent. Now, this task is further made difficult when there is no emotional or financial support from their partner or a co-parent to share their anxieties and worries. So let's understand all of this and let's help all the single mothers plan their financial life for themselves and for their kids. Let's welcome on board Shilpa Bhaskar Gole, founder NerdyBird Financial Wellness, and discuss the investment strategies that single mothers can actually adopt. Shilpa, hi, good evening and welcome to the show. A very important topic and I think a very tough task at hand also, because you need to help those people who are multitasking, as it is, it's quite a big responsibility to be taking care of your own finances, and then if you have a child, upbringing and raising a kid is any which ways, it needs a lot of investment, emotional investment, financial investment, psychological investment, everything, and you have to do it all alone. So let's break this down. It's very important for a single mother to take care of your fundamental planning when it comes to their finances. What do you have to say?
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Kavita. And I want to also applaud, ET Now and Money Show for bringing up such an important topic in a very, very inherently patriarchal financial system that we all still live in. So thank you so much for doing that. Now, coming to the topic, Kavita, I think there are basically what we need to first do is understand what are the reasons that lead to single parenthood or single motherhood for that matter, because the reasons that lead to the single motherhood have a lot of roles to play in terms of what kind of financial planning they need to do. So let me start by talking about what are 2-3 of the reasons that lead to single motherhood. So I think the number one reason is could be when there has been the spouse has passed away. So that could be the first reason. The second reason could be that you've had a divorce or a separation from your spouse, and that has led to single motherhood. And there could also be a case of something that happens out of wedlock, having a child out of wedlock, which leads to single parenting. And it could also be an intentional choice, right? With an intentional choice, we're hoping that you're planning for it better, where you have decided to adopt a child as a single mother or go through IVF or, surrogacy. So what I'd like to now highlight is the two main reasons, one being your divorces and separations, and the other being when you lose your spouse. So when you lose your spouse, what we have noticed in our area of work at NerdyBird is that a lot of times the spouse, the single mother, is suddenly left with a windfall of insurance claim in her account. Now, I know that this is not common. There are a lot of mothers who are also left with nothing, but I want to start by addressing the case where there is a windfall insurance claim, life insurance claim in your account. There are so many mothers who are suddenly left with this huge amount lying idle in their savings account, and they have absolutely no idea what to do with it. And in such a case, you have family members telling you what to do, you have friends telling you what to do. Over and above that, product sellers start to bombard you with various structured products and complex products that you can buy off them. And these are mothers who have never talked about money to their spouse before, and suddenly there is no spouse around to help you through this conversation. So this leads to a lot of overwhelm, a lot of fear, and not knowing what to do next. So I feel like to address a situation like this to begin with, I think single mothers who have lost a spouse need to be able to find the right kind of trustable support system, somebody trustworthy around them that they can go to and speak to about a situation like this. And I think right now in our industry, the only such people are your fiduciaries, your SEBI RIAs that they can reach out to. So is there a way where we can create a connect with people like this who are keeping their interest above everything else? The second important piece to highlight here are women who...
That being said, I just want to elaborate more on your first point, and it's very rightly pointed out, by you, that you really need to have someone who can be an emotional support system and also take care of your finances, and ideally a financial planner, which, by the way, a lot of time also plays the role of a counselor. That comes with the job, I think. So, but the question point over here is, how do we trust someone with our finances? For example, example, if there's a single mother who is not so well tuned with the money part or the money aspect of her life so far, and maybe now it's a situation where she's made to deal with it, okay? What would be those do's and don'ts where she's out there and trying to look for a financial planner or a registered RIA? How can one go about it without having any financial background, without having any knowledge about investments?
Good question, Kavita. So I think to establish the trust, the intention of the person offering the help is very important to understand. So as a woman who has absolutely no idea where to begin, the first question that she needs to ask this person is, what is your objective? There shouldn't be a conflict of interest there where this person also has some kind of sales objective behind talking to her, right? So if this person has a profit motive, if this person is there to sell her a product, then chances are that the interest in her and her life and completely sort of putting the focus on her may not be there. I'm not saying everyone's like that, and this is not a blanket statement, but even the system and regulation has tried to separate these two things. So as a person starting out, I think she needs to find out if this person is here to look at her interest only and help her purely with the financial planning aspect and the counseling aspect over and above everything else. And I feel like the red flag for someone like me would be that if this person is selling me a product, I need to look for people who are not selling me products, but are actually sitting down with me and working through these finances with me. That's number one. The other big thing that I would look for is someone who empathizes and someone who is compassionate and is able to sit down with me and listen. And I think deep listening is a skill that is not yet there in the financial services industry. So I really wish that there are more people who show compassion, offer that space for deep listening, like you see in the space of counseling. And I think if these two bits are taken care of, a large part of the battle is won for her. Another good point to look at is this person talking to me with a lot of jargon, or is this person able to simplify it for me and talk to me in the language that I understand? And I strongly believe that a lot of financial services and products that are offered and terms and jargon out there can be broken down and explained in a simple manner. So I feel like that is also one of the indicators that she can look out for to see if this person truly has her interest in mind.
All right, let's move on to the other scenario. This was a scenario where the spouse is no more, but in a scenario where there has been a financial separation. Okay, I mean, if you get an alimony, or maybe the cost of raising up the kid is divided between the two, but there is something that we call as a financial separation that really plays a very important role when a couple split up. Okay, so how, moving on, a single mother should be taking care of her finances as well as ensure that the child gets the right kind of upbringing and is financially supported by her.
Absolutely. So I think with divorce or a separation, the big piece here is one is the alimony, and the other is the maintenance that would come in every month if that is something that has been negotiated as well. And the big worry with both of these components is that there is a certain uncertainty. You really don't know if that money will flow into your account every month, especially when it comes to the maintenance. So I feel like in such a case, is the single mother able to go out there and work and start to bring in a stable income, consistent income every month to take care of all her needs and her child's needs? Because I feel like an over dependency or an over reliance on a maintenance or any kind of cost they've agreed on, I'm not sure if there is a certainty that comes with it, Kavita.
All right. Now, since we have considered the most important aspects, of how a single mother should be going ahead, let's take a model financial portfolio in play, okay? And let's just take all the single mother through the kind of different cycles of planning that she might need to take care of, right from the time when there has been a childbirth to a mid-level education need or maybe a higher education. What all goes in the planning, what all needs to be done, and at the same time she also has to ensure that she is financially free and she's also financially independent. Okay, so how do you dabble between these two very important aspect of being a single mother?
Great question, Kavita. So I think to begin with, the first priority is, am I able to manage my cash flows on month basis? So before moving on to your medium term goals, your short term goals, your long term goals, are you able to create enough income to take care of your lifestyle needs in the present? So that would be, right from paying your house rent to your groceries, your utility bills, to your child's needs. So if it's a very young child, the child itself comes with a lot of needs. Like if you need to go out to work, you would definitely want some kind of support for the child in terms of childcare. So do you have any daycare facilities, or some grandparent or somebody who can take care, or a nanny who can take care? And that would also be a cost that you want to budget for when you are thinking about your cash flows and what all expenses you need to take care of, while thinking of the income you need to bring in. So I think, right, to begin with, it is your cash flow management that's most important. The second aspect, I think, is that before you think about investing and creating wealth for your medium term and long term goals, think of some of the short term needs that you have, especially having an emergency fund. So if you do not have an emergency fund, please start by building one, because if there is any big, unexpected, sudden expense that comes your way, you don't want your investments getting eaten up because of those expenses. So create your emergency fund, take adequate health insurance as well for yourself and your child to ensure that any unexpected medical emergencies are also taken care of to a great extent. Once you have created that protection for yourself, start thinking about your investments and the portfolio that you want to create for your goals. I think here what would happen is that for your child, you'd want to create a fund for their school education. There would also be your college education in the medium term that may come up, or in the slightly longer term. So for a medium term or a long term goal, you will have to think about how you want to invest that money and create that fund for yourself. So that is the next goal to think about. And there you could look at a mix of equity, of stocks and bonds, because I think a hybrid fund is what would work for a medium term goal. And I think what happens in all of this is that the woman tends to forget about herself and her own old age security. So one of the things we do in our area of work as well is that we tell her to make sure that she has her retirement fund in place and that she starts to build it slowly. So come what may, every month, are you able to allocate a little money towards your long-term retirement fund? Because I think not enough women who are single mothers are able to think that far for themselves, and they only end up doing a lot of stuff for their children and being very selfless in the kind of caregiving they give. So I think it's very important that they think about these long-term needs, and retirement is super important, I think, for their old age financial security.
Right, and in the end, I would just like to sum it up saying that nothing is impossible. Even an impossible has an I am possible. So all the single mothers out there, this task can look daunting, but then trust me, break it down and reach out for help. You can also reach out to Shilpa or to the Money Show. We will provide you with all the guidance that's needed. Meantime, thank you so much, Shilpa, for being on the show and helping our viewers with this today. All right, on that note, let's take a quick break.